Joining me now in the audience, Shagun Oduolowu, entertainment journalist, Zoe Tur, pilot and reporter who herself is transgender, and Ben Shapiro, senior editor, Breitbart News, author of Bullies. Ben, did she deserve this award?
For what?
For courageously coming forward, for having been an athlete of great prowess and now fighting a new battle.
What exactly is the battle? I mean, self-definition is what you do, and my baby's doing it at 18 months old. I wasn't aware that you get a medal for it.
To come out transgender is horribly difficult. It is the most difficult thing you can do. I've been overseas. I've flown helicopter missions, surveillance missions. I've been shot, stabbed. Being brave is being yourself. And being transgender is about the bravest thing you can do. Did she deserve the award?
Really quick. So on one hand, I don't want to discredit him or she, just for the simple fact that she just said that she had like a lot of experience, or he had a lot of experience overseas. You know what I mean? Like, you know, overseas flying helicopters pretty much. I'm guessing he served in the army. I don't know. I honestly don't know. So that's one reason why I don't want to discredit, you know, what she's saying right now, or he. So confusing. I don't want to, but at the same time, I just wholeheartedly reject the notion that that's the bravest thing you can do. I think when she was flying the helicopter and when she was doing all that other stuff, that was the bravest thing. Honestly, I think that was the bravest thing, but who knows?
Yes.
Why are we mainstreaming delusion?
It's not delusion.
Why would you call it delusion?
Because Caitlyn Jenner, I'll call him Caitlyn Jenner.
No,
because
it's her. You're not being polite to the pronouns.
Because
disrespectful.
Okay, forget about the disrespect. Facts don't care about your feelings. It turns out that every chromosome, every cell in Caitlyn Jenner's body is male, with the exception of some of his sperm cells. It turns out that his brain structure is male. It turns out that he still has all of his male appendages. How he feels on the inside is irrelevant to the question of his biological sex.
That's
I don't
true.
agree with that. I'm not on that train. I'm not on that train. She wants to be called she. I'm going to call her she. I just have a problem with the message and the messenger.
So well, let's. I'm going to do two things. I want to reiterate what Zoe said, which is the bifurcation of the courage to come forward after a lifetime as a male and a certain kind of a male, versus did she deserve this award? Listen, awards. What are award ceremonies except an opportunity to catch some eyes?
Especially the ESPN.
So yeah, so ESPN. Well done, ABC. They did exactly what their job was: to attract eyes. They did it. That's what award ceremonies are for. But
I just really realized what they were talking about. She got Caitlyn Jenner, the Kardashians' old father / mother, whatever. Father. She got a courage award. Really? She got a courage award for doing what exactly? For coming out as a woman? Wow.
in terms of the science behind gender dysphoria, you're very familiar with that, Zoe.
Very familiar.
It's not about the chromosome. Excuse me, the chromosomes within our
both know
nuclei. Yeah, go ahead.
chromosomes don't necessarily mean you're male or female.
Gender.
Yeah.
With gender of course.
Identity. Go ahead. No, so
especially, but even so, you have a thing like Klinefelter's syndrome. So you don't know what you're talking about. You're not educated on
Would you like
genetics.
to discuss the genetics?
no,
What are your genetics?
So I'd stay away from the genetics and back to the brain scans.
You cut that out now, or you'll go home in an ambulance.
Yeah, that seems mildly inappropriate for a political discussion.
No, I know. Well, but wait, to be
You
fair,
go home
but
in an
to be fair,
ambulance.
wait, but to be fair, you're actually.
Why did you just threaten him? And he's saying, to be fair, why are you defending violence right now? Why are you defending violence? There's no reason to defend it. You say, hey, that was wrong. And that's all. Well, why would she just threaten him? Or he, still so confusing. Bear with me, guys.
Being
Hey, guys.
rude.
And
that's not fair.
I'm sorry, it's not rude to say that someone who is biologically a male is a male.
You just
Someone
called
who
me
is
sir.
biologically male is a male.
But Mr. Shapiro, you knew very well that saying that to Zoe would be egregiously insulting.
It's not a matter of insulting or inflammatory.
It
It's a
is.
fact.
No, well,
You are a male. Dr. Drew is a male.
Sir, you're right. Hey, on paper,
Okay,
what is a fact is a fact, and I can't deny that. But you knew that going in, that just saying that to Zoe would be aggressively insulting.
It's not a matter of aggressively insulting.
Come on.
The entire discussion
Really?
is whether we are embracing mental illness and delusion as a
So they're
society.
really defending him just threatening Ben Shapiro? Really? They're defending that right now. Why? Oh, you know that she was gonna get aggressive because of that. What? See, and like I'm switching up pronouns and everything. This is so confusing, but at the same time, don't defend that. Like, really? Come on.
That's the entire discussion.
No,
Well,
no. But that...
Ben Shapiro is editor-at-large at Breitbart.com and the author of Bullies, How the Left's Culture of Fear and Intimidation Silences Americans. So why am I off the rails, Mr. Shapiro?
You know, honestly, Piers, you've kind of been a bully on this issue because what you do, and I've seen it repeatedly on your show, I watch your show, and I've seen it repeatedly, what you tend to do is you tend to demonize people who differ from you politically by standing on the graves of the children of Sandy Hook, saying they don't seem to care enough about the dead kids. If they cared more about the dead kids, they would agree with you on policy. I think we can have a rational political conversation about balancing rights and risks and rewards of all of these different policies, but I don't think that what we need to do is demonize people on the other side as being unfeeling about what happened in Sandy Hook.
How dare you accuse me of standing on the graves of the children that died there? How dare you?
I've seen you do it repeatedly, Piers.
Like I say, how dare you?
He said it with a straight face, no sugarcoating. Ben Shapiro, if there's anything you could say about him, he is straightforward and honest about what he thinks and feels, which I can respect.
Well, I mean, you can keep saying that, but you've done it repeatedly. What you do, and I've seen you do it on the program, is you keep saying to folks that if they disagree with you politically, then somehow this is a violation of what happened in Sandy Hook. And you have yet, I'd really like to hear your policy prescriptions for what we should do about guns. Because you say that you respect the Second Amendment, and, you know, I brought this here for you so that you can read it. It's the Constitution. And I would really like for you to explain to me what you would do about guns that would have prevented what happened in Sandy Hook. If you want to do what you did in the UK, right, which is ban virtually all guns, that is at least a fair argument. And we can have a discussion about whether that's something that we ought to do or not.
I've made it very clear what I want to do, which is exactly what Mark Kelly wants to do. And in fact, rather than address
let's talk about that.
Rather than address your comments to me about standing on the graves of children at Sandy Hook, you can address them to Mark Kelly, because he agrees with everything that I've been saying, because he feels the same way, as does his wife. They're gun owners. They both respect the Second Amendment of the Constitution. They don't want to take away anybody's right to defend themselves with guns.
Well, they want to take away certain types of guns, obviously.
They want to take away assault weapons, which are capable, with magazines like we saw at Aurora and Sandy Hook, of unleashing a ridiculous amount of bullets.
Well, this is a question I wanted to ask you, Piers, because I've seen you talk about assault weapons a lot, and I've seen Mark Kelly talk about assault weapons. The vast majority of murders in this country that are committed with guns are not committed with assault weapons, they're committed with handguns. Okay, so are you willing to ban handguns in this country, across the country?
No, that's not what I'm asking for.
Why not?
Let me ask you.
Don't you care about...
Basically, this whole entire discussion gets muddied by the simple fact that, first off, most people in America that don't use guns, or most people in America, because I think most people don't use guns, don't even know what an assault rifle is. They think that a semi-automatic weapon is AR-15 or something like that. Like, they think semi-automatic means automatic, which is so weird to me. You know what I mean? A semi-automatic weapon is like a pistol or whatever, you know, which is so weird. Another thing is, like Ben Shapiro just said, most murders committed are with semi-automatic weapons. So why would you not ban those? Oh, the reason is because you really want to just, you know, harp on the school shootings, which I will admit, it's terrible. School shootings are terrible. We all know this. Everybody knows school shootings are terrible. But it's more so a very big political talking point. That's really what it is. It's really politically motivated, if you ask me, the banning of guns. I don't think that people really care about the lives of these people that are, that lives that are lost. I don't think people care about that. I think that they really care about the political momentum that they can get from, you know, harping on the tragedies of the deaths. Like he just said, he's standing on the deaths, which I wholeheartedly agree with. I think at this point in time, when I first seen this, Piers Morgan was doing that. And I think he did it again the other day. If you guys watched the Andrew Tate interview, he just did, Piers Morgan with Andrew Tate. He did it the other day when he brought up Alex Jones into a whole nother person's interview, Andrew Tate's. He did the same exact thing. He was harping on the empathy of the people in the audience to try and side with him about that, which is so weird to me. You know, he keeps doing it.
About the kids who are being killed in Chicago as much as the kids in Sandy Hook?
Yes, I do.
Then why don't you care about banning the handguns in Chicago?
I wanted to share with you. According to Pew Research, the net worth of white families in 2013 was $141,000. For black families, it was $11,000, even less than the $19,000 it was in 2007. According to economist Edward Wolf of the University of New York, excluding vehicles and other durables, the median black family worth is just $1,700, while 40% of black families have zero or negative wealth. White family worth, in terms of financial worth, is 69 times more than that of black families. Given this disparity, how can you argue that racism is not a driving factor in income inequality?
Driving?
It has nothing to do with race and everything to do with culture. And when you have a culture that doesn't, and when
really quick, that's such a pathetic way of viewing those statistics. Like, why would you just assume that like the leading factor is because of the color of their skin? The way that they even formulated the data leaks, like the way he read it, white people are 69, have 69, whatever more percent, and then he said black people have, like, basically black people are more disproportionately affected by, I guess, the wealth gap or whatever. But to say that that's only because of color, to me, is just very disingenuous. On face value, I guess you could say that, but you also have to do like a multivariate analysis. If you ask me, you have to see, like you said, the culture. Is the father? I guess that's all a part of the culture. Yeah, the father in the household. Is it a 2-parent household? Is the mother in the house? Like, all of this stuff. You have to think about all of this stuff. So Ben Shapiro is absolutely right here. Why, as soon as you see like that type of statistic, do you think it's just because of racism? It could be because of, in fact, culture. Because most people don't live in a 2-parent household. At least black people, they don't live in a 2-parent household. Let's keep it 1,000. They don't.
You know what? Explain to me. You explain to me why black kids aren't graduating high school. Explain that one to me. Explain to me why black kids are shooting each other in rates significantly higher than whites are shooting.
You guys know I was the first person in my family to walk across the stage. Like the first male, how about that, in my family to walk across the stage. So that says something.
Each other. Explain to me why 13% of the population is responsible for 50% of the murder. Explain to me why the number of black kids in prison, not for innocent reasons, not for walking down the street and getting pulled into a prison, is so high. Explain, if it has nothing to do with culture, explain to me why the single motherhood rate in the black community jumped from 20% to 70% in the same course of time that the civil rights movement has made such tremendous strides. Is America more racist now than it was in 1960? And if it is, please explain to me how that happened.
I want to hear a response. Oh, there's no response? Oh, they didn't put the response. All in all, that was a great video. Ben Shapiro right there at the end, he spit nothing but facts. He said 70% is what the single motherhood rate is now. That's ridiculous. 70% of children are being raised by single mothers. That is heartbreaking, actually. I did not know that specific statistic. Granted, my mother is single. She raised me single, so I didn't know that it was so many other people raised by single mothers either. But with that being said, that's pretty much it. My name is Jay Dottie. Like and subscribe. Peace.